We come together to celebrate a world-class treatment center at the intersection of compassion and innovation. For patients here in New Jersey, it means easier access to the exceptional care that Sloan Kettering is known for. For doctors and surgeons at the forefront of cancer care, many who already live in New Jersey, it means having the latest technology and cutting-edge tools at your fingertips so that you can continue practicing the best medicine in the world. For researchers and clinicians, it means being able to partner with physicians to conduct clinical trials and provide patients with access to the latest and most promising anti-cancer drugs and treatments. Now, I know that new medical breakthroughs just don't happen overnight, and that federal investments in medical research are essential to our continued progress. That's why, as a senior member of the Senate Finance Committee that has large jurisdiction over health care in the Senate, I'm always working across the aisle to increase funding for medical research. And I'm glad that this year we helped pass a bipartisan budget agreement that increases funding for the National Cancer Institute by $275 million and the National Institutes of Health by $3 billion. We need to be at the forefront of innovation and finding the cures that ultimately ail so many of our fellow citizens. As we work to achieve new breakthroughs in cancer care and open state-of-the-art centers like this one, I am concerned in the debate that we have in Washington that sometimes seems to reduce access to the high-quality care that is made available at places like MSK Bergen. I have spent the better part of the last year trying to move forward and get past the arguments of repealing the Affordable Care Act, which 800,000 New Jerseyans now have health care as a result of that law. 3.5 million New Jerseyans who have some form of a pre-existing condition no longer have to worry about being discriminated against by their health insurance company, so that they can come to renowned oncologists, surgeons, and therapists like those at Sloan Kettering. And I am concerned that even the most universally agreed to elements of making sure that even in our debate, that protections against pre-existing conditions and lifetime caps is even the subject of debate. I've spoken to cancer survivors who rely on these protections for their health and economic security. They fear that if, God forbid, their cancer returns once again, that they could run into the annual caps and lifetime limits. You know, you have insurance and you have a challenging illness, and that illness is costly to deal with, and you hit up against that cap, and then you still have the illness and you still need the treatment, and you no longer are being covered by your insurance. You're one illness away from losing everything that you ever worked for in your life. In the greatest country on the face of the earth, I cannot imagine that that is our choice. And that was eliminated under the Affordable Care Act. There are no more lifetime caps. So when someone like Mr. Rossi, who's looking so well, and whose brother's taking care of business, is ultimately over a decade and a half later, that's the success. That's the success that we ultimately cherish. So everywhere I go in New Jersey, I hear from patients, providers, and families who want us to move our healthcare system forward, to build upon and make it even better. That's what drives all of you here at MSK Bergen, pioneering new treatments, giving hope to patients, and moving our healthcare system forward. As we do that, we must work together to ensure that every American facing many challenging illnesses. My mother had a long, long goodbye with Alzheimer's. It was a long goodbye. Many more are joining that reality as they age, and we see an explosion in that field. And there was a time in which I lost way too many friends to cancer. That has changed today. That has changed today. So whatever American is facing whatever challenge, in this case a battle with cancer, no matter where they live, how old they are, what kind of money they make, we need to make sure that they can have the access to a world-class care facility such as MSK Bergen. That is our mission. And what I celebrate today is a beautiful building, and it looks great, but what I celebrate is hope and life. hope that is given to those who cross the thresholds, life who will leave it afterwards. Thank you so much for being here with us.